One of the things I really like about Thursday night, Monday night football, apart from the fact that I'm down in my barn, often with my son, hanging out watching the game, you get to focus on one game. And on Sundays, it's hard to focus on one game. On Sunday nights, it's hard to focus on the second half of one game because we have videos you do your podcast, we're doing other things. It's just nice to be able to watch everything about a game. And I say that because it's also nice to evaluate the extent to which the NFL's concussion spotting process is working. There were two moments last Thursday night that caught my attention. There was a play where Tyson Bagent, the Bears quarterback, was tackled and his head kind of drove into the turf, and he kind of got up and was walking it off. And we know that demeanor of somebody who's a little rattled and trying to walk it off. And it's like, you know what? That guy probably should get evaluated at halftime, and I don't know whether he did or he didn't. It's not something that they share with the world. Then came late in the game, Panthers tight end Hayden Hurst with just about, 4 minutes and change left. There was a pass thrown to him. He was hit, and when he hit the ground, his head strikes the turf. Now watch. Is that fencing posture? It's enough to get my attention.
I saw it.
Now
I
watch
thought
him
it was.
struggle to get up.
Yeah.
Watch him struggle to get up.
Right.
Now, who in the hell is getting paid good money to see this and supposedly press the red button to protect this player from himself and get him out? What's that? I mean, Chris, I was infuriated as this happened, and I didn't say anything about it because what I said was, you know what we're going to do? We're going to wait and see if Hayden Hurst has a concussion. I'm going to put a pin in this until Wednesday, and we see whether or not this guy has a concussion. And when I saw the injury report last night, Hayden Hurst did not practice, concussion. I mean, it's inexcusable. National Football League. It's all talk. It's all PR. It's all please don't sue us spin unless you can activate this process 100 out of 100 times. You can't bat 500. You can't bat 750. You can't bat 990. You got to get this every time. And when it's something like this, play that again. When it's something like this, and you've got like 7 different people who are watching, and they always puff out their chest and boast about how state-of-the-art this process is. Who the hell's head is up their ass? And it's multiple people with their head up their ass to not see this. And come on, 63. Don't you recognize me? Don't we hear all the time, the teammates step up in these situations and they protect their guys. The guy's clearly in distress and nobody notices.
Well, I listen, Mike, I totally hear you.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, the spotters, all that. There's, I think, a few things every week where we think it's a little questionable, whether it's the timing of the game, the importance of the player, all that seems to affect it a little bit. I will say, too, at times, hey, I think the players, don't help themselves out. That is a weird one, right? I think if you looked at it and you weren't
But he's concussed. He's wired to keep playing. You know how that goes. He doesn't want to come out of the game.
I know, and that's where it's tough. And it's also tough, I'm just saying, on the spotter on that one, and even for the teammates, because I'm with you. You see kind of that, is it that, what the hell's that pose call with the arm, freezes a little bit?
Fencing
Fencing
posture.
It looks a little like that when he's on the ground. So that's what makes my eyes open up. But at the same time, where I'll defend the NFL and maybe his teammates is, he got hit in the ribs, right? And it didn't look like the most violent hit to the ground. And that's where I think if you were there on the field, you might be going, damn, that was a big shot to his ribs. And right away, you'd be like, did the wind knocked out of him? Did he break a rib? Is there something like that? And also, what I wonder, too, to your point and what we always say, and what I would do, too, did Hayden Hurst say his head hurt? Or did he go over there and go, my ribs, I got the wind knocked out of me? Something like that. So that's where it is tough on them. But, yes, there does seem to be a few too many plays. Devontae Parker early in the year. There's some other ones that aren't coming to my mind right now where you go, what? How did we miss that? The guy can't walk straight, and he's still in the football game, a.k.a. Tua last year before he got into the fencing pose in Cincinnati. So that where I don't understand that totally, yes.
And Chris, as to your point, the NFL will say, we don't activate our spotting protocol based upon the hit. We study the aftermath of the hit. That's what gets us to check someone out. And we're not saying slap the concussion scarlet letter on them. We're saying check them out. Check them out and see if they're okay. There was more than enough in the reaction by Hayden Hurst, more than enough data points for the naked eye watching it happen to say somebody should check this guy out. From the half second or so that looked like the fencing posture to struggling to get up, a teammate pulling him by the shoulder pad flap to get him up. That's enough to at least say, check this guy out on the sideline. Let's make sure he's okay. Whether it's his ribs, whether it's his head, whether it's anything. There's enough there that we should check this guy out. And the reason I'm adamant about it is I've questioned the NFL when it comes to somebody taking a big hit to the head. Well, if he springs right up and everything's fine, then everything's fine. We focus on the aftermath. Well, when the aftermath looks like that, you can't say, well, we focus on the hit. We don't focus on the aftermath. Then they're moving the goalpost just to justify whatever they did. So that's why I'm extra upset about this. If they're going to say they're protecting the players, they have to protect the players 100 out of 100 times. And I think back to the Case Keenum moment in Baltimore when he was playing for the Rams. I think it was 2015. He was in that fencing posture and nobody noticed. John Madden at the time was livid. John Madden wanted to fire everybody who had any role in that mess. You have that many people, and I think that's what it comes down to. They have too many people. It gets diluted, and there's always somebody thinking somebody else is going to be the one to do it, especially when you're in that mode where the Panthers are trying to drive down the field and tie or win the game.
Yeah.
Not that Hayden Hurst is the quarterback or an integral part of the offense. He's a starting tight end, but I think even then, nobody wants to be the one that pulls the guy out of the game for multiple plays to get him checked out when his team is trying to drive the ball down the field.
Agreed.
And maybe get a victory or force overtime. But that's not how it should be. That shouldn't matter if they truly care about the health and safety of the player.
No, that was to my point. You're right. I think there's, the player, the moment in the game, how it'll affect it. All those things seem to be swaying this decision a little bit, or of whether we evaluate. And, that it's human nature to a degree, but yeah, to your point, people aren't doing their job. What I would like to know is what Hayden Hurst told them, right? That's where I'm not going to judge too harshly because, again, as an ex-football player, and we're all looking for it, it didn't look that violent to the head, even the way his head hit the ground. Now, I know that, less contact as people have had concussions before, but I don't think it was the kind of hit where you go, ooh, that way. And I remember watching Thursday night going, seeing him hit the ground doing that. And then when he bent over and was acting like this right here and a trainer is talking to him right now, I just figured, oh, well, he got crushed.
I don't know who
in
that
the ribs.
You can't tell who that is.
I'm guessing it's a trainer. I saw one shot.
To evaluate someone. I'm not giving him an out here because Pete said, oh, who's that behind? That's not how you evaluate someone. Hey, are you okay?
No, that's
are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Get the hell out of here.
I think it's a trainer. I don't even think that's a doctor or anything there.
Yeah. You got to get that guy eye to eye. You got to see what's going on in his brain. You got to maybe take him into the blue tent, and that's the problem. You're taken off the field during crunch time. He was back on the field fairly quickly. So they clearly knew something was up. I mean, it's obvious to anyone with common sense and functioning eyes something was up. My point is, NFL, don't give me all this PR bullcrap about how you protect these players because one failure is all it takes. And Chris, all it takes is one time that somebody has a concussion that is missed and he's back in the game and he gets the second concussion and it starts that cascade effect that we see with high school players because there's a handful that die every year because they're back in a game with one concussion, they get another concussion, and then the next thing you know, they're in serious trouble or dead. That's what the NFL is supposedly trying to avoid, and that's why it should be red alert. And there's two instances on that play where he could have been concussed. The quick change of direction when the head snaps.
Yeah, sure.
And when the head hits the ground.
Right.
Because that whole thing, there's no helmet that protects you against moving quickly and then stopping, and your brain inside your skull bounces off of that bone.
Yeah, the whiplash
doesn't matter
effect.
what helmet you're wearing.
Yeah, no,
when that happens.
Right,
so,
right.
Anyway.
You said it right. The hit, all that could all do it.
Yeah,
the NFL could be better.
We either care about health and safety or we don't. We either care or we don't. It's either PR or it's real. And you would like to think after last Thursday night, like if they really cared, it wouldn't be something that would be hush-hush. They would come out and say, hey, there was an incident in last Thursday night's game where Hayden Hurst suffered a concussion and our protocol did not operate properly, and here's what we're doing to change it going forward. They don't want us talking about it. They're going to be upset with me. I guarantee I'm going to hear from somebody today who's pissed off that we spent 10 minutes talking about this. I don't care, because you either care about health and safety or you don't, and somebody's got to push them to get 100 out of 100 right. Not 75, not 85, not 55, 100. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.